everybody.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming here today. I'd like to welcome you to the People's Church of Divine Prophecy Sunday afternoon meeting. Not afternoon yet. Feels like it the day I've had, but I'd like to ask David to light the 3 candles symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit to start the service. He's asked to do the opening prayer. He's a well-traveled person, so he'd be interested here today.
Peace be with you.
Peace be with you.
I'm honored, thank you. And I feel a great spirit here in this room, and it's a wonderful privilege to be here. I want to say quickly, I got a text on my little cell phone this morning. It's in the realm of good news and bad news. So first we'll do the bad news. The bad news is that you are free falling. There is nothing at all to hang on to. The good news is there's no ground.
I can just get the gravity ball.
He showed me how to do that. So you don't know me, but I am the drummer boy. I feel quite often unworthy, but I accept that feeling as being part of my nature. I would like to open with my favorite prayer, which is the prayer written by St. Francis of Assisi. And if you would be kind either to pray with me or listen, I would be so honored. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me show love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is doubt, faith. And where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may seek to comfort rather than to be comforted, to understand rather than to be understood, and to love rather than to be loved. For it is in giving that we receive. It is in forgiving that we are forgiven. And it is in dying of self that we awaken to eternal life. Amen. Thank you.
The next portion is the reading by the pastor. This is where I try to put something in a spiritual perspective that's happened over the last week, into a spiritual thought that I'm trying to bring into my life and action. I guess the principle would be constant contact with the higher mind and the spirit side of life. And this morning, as well as a few other mornings, within the first couple hours was pure chaos in my life. Everything that I had planned to do, not just one thing, but everything I had planned to do was reorganized for me, so to speak. And I managed to keep my calm. And what I thought about was, you know, if there's a raging storm outside, and you decide to be emotionally involved with it, does it affect that storm at all? No. Not a bit. So too, if you want to be emotionally involved in a storm of chaos in your life, it really doesn't affect it too much other than stir you up beyond all reason. What had happened was, first, my wife, she is the assistant to the pastor in Colby Temple in Casadega. The pastor calls and says she can't make it, so she doesn't have to go in every Sunday, but we're sitting there having our coffee, and she says, I got to go into the church today. The pastor's not going to be there. As she's getting ready to leave, the lady that leads the singing calls and says she can't be there. So at this point, my wife's just standing there going, oh my gosh. So the pastor calls my wife on the phone. She says, well, since the lady that's not singing is not going to be there, she said that you can sing. And my wife is not a singer. Neither am I. So we have that in common. I mean, we like to sing, but nobody else likes to hear us sing. So that's how that works. So, we kind of calmed down and managed to get that arranged, called somebody up, called up the person that was supposed to lead the singing, and they said, well, if you come get me, I'll come in. My car's broke down. So she's going to go pick the lady up and bring her in, so that all got solved. I'm getting ready to go out to my truck, and I get a phone call. I'm getting ready to come to church. My son says, I'm being evicted Monday, and I need to use your truck to move out today. And now I got to go into work on top of it after church today, so there's no way that I could bring my truck to church and come in to work too. So I thought about it a minute, and I said, I'm just going to be forced to ride my motorcycle. That's why I'm wearing black, blue jeans and construction boots. I did shine them up, though. They're shiny boots, so I has to put it into the realm of acceptability. But that back in the old days, I don't know if it was the Quakers or the Amish, they used to have these little books they called angel books. And every time they felt that an angel impressed them through the day, they used to write down in it so that they could be reminded of that constant connection to the spirit realm. And that's what we have to do. In the midst of turmoil, in the midst of disruption, if we have that reminder that we're constantly connected, even if it's in the back of our mind, renewing that connection in the morning keeps it constant in our minds through the day. And the last part of this is I finally get on my bike. I'm running. It's about 9:30, and usually I leave by 9 o'clock to get here on time. I just get away from the house, and all of a sudden somebody says in my ear, "You forgot your wallet and you forgot your security badge for work." Oh my gosh. I'm on a dirt road, and I don't know if y'all know, but Harleys don't turn around very well on dirt roads. So I had to get turned around, go back to the house, but instead of being upset, I said, "Thank you, Spirit, for saying that to me." Because it would have been a lot worse if I got here and realized that I had left everything at the house. So again, it's thanking the Spirit when you're given those solutions. Even if you don't follow the solutions, thank the Spirit for being there in your life and taking the time to touch in. Whether it was my spirit guides, or God speaking to me directly, it really doesn't matter because the effect was the same. You believe in that communication without having to identify it, and it works a lot more currently with you. Trust it, feel it, know the difference when it touches your mind. And you'll always be connected. Always have that calm in the middle of disruption. Storms can rage around you, emotional or physical, and if you feel that presence of God, that quiet touch of God within you, you will have that quiet place within your heart to draw on. Thank you. Portion of the service is the healing portion. Ashkhen will be guiding us in the meditation part. I'd like to have Kathy and Judy do the healing. Got quite a few people here today, so maybe, I thought I saw Ann here today. There she is.
Hiding in the front row once again.
A Zen trick. The way this works is during the meditation, you'll hear a chime, which will sound like this. That means a chair has become vacant over there, so you can enjoy the meditation and still get a contact healing. Please start the service by reading the prayer for spiritual healing on the back. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's get ready for the meditation. Find a comfortable position to sit. Feet straight on the ground, palms up in your laps. Let go of the tension, if there is any, in your body, physical body. Close your eyes. Bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. Take in few deep breaths. With your exhale, just release and let go whatever is occupying your mind, any thoughts. With your exhale, just release, let go. Ask your mind to be quiet. And not to interfere. Just focus on your breath. While you breathe in and out, feel your breath taking you deeper and deeper within. And connecting you to this peaceful presence that is within. Feels very quiet, calm, and soothing. Connect with this peaceful presence and become one. Repeat to yourself quietly, I am at peace within and without. With each inhale, I am at peace within. And with exhale, I am at peace without. Connect to the rhythm of your breath. Feel your breath. Listen to your breath. This is the breath of God that aligns you. While you breathe, feel your consciousness shifting higher. Bring your awareness up to your forehead. And focus in the center of your forehead and become aware of your third eye, your spirit eye. As you look through your third eye, you see yourself raised to the higher dimensions of light. Become aware of the celestial realms. You see yourself surrounded with celestial beings and angelic hosts. As you observe, you will notice a beautiful angel coming towards you with violet ray and energy. Coming to your crown, healing and clearing your mental body. And awakening the wisdom within your spirit. The mind of God and the presence of God within. As this angel leaves, another one approaches you with a beautiful turquoise ray color. It comes to your forehead, clears and heals your third eye chakra. Enables you to see the spiritual realms, your spirit guides. Gives you the gift of vision. Breathe in and breathe out. As this angel leaves, another one approaches you with beautiful blue rays. Comes to your throat chakra. It heals and clears your throat. And places the gift of communication that enables you to express your divine truth. As this angel leaves, the fourth angel comes forth with beautiful green ray and energy. Comes to your heart. Heals and clears your heart chakra, and places the gift of love on your heart. And opens up your heart to God's unconditional love and compassion. As you breathe in and breathe out, feel God's love filling your heart. As this angel leaves, another one comes forward. Your solar plexus, with a beautiful yellow ray. And places the gift of power on your solar plexus, your stomach area. Feel this energy energizing you and empowering you, and allowing God's will to be delivered through your actions. Breathe in and breathe out. This angel leaves, another one approaches you with a beautiful orange ray and color. See this angel coming to your spleen chakra, healing and clearing your emotional body, helping you to release all the feelings and emotions of pain, hurt, and placing the gift of forgiveness enabling you to forgive and let go. Breathe in and breathe out. See the seventh angel coming forth with beautiful red ray. Is coming to your root chakra at the base of your spine. Healing, clearing, and balancing. Giving you the gift of courage. Enabling you to overcome fear and obstacles and blockages that are stopping you from advancing spiritually and opening up your highest potentials. Providing you with the courage, guidance in your daily life. Begin slowly up to your forehead. And see yourself surrounded with this beautiful 7 angels that are around you. And each one of these angels are beaming their light and energy to your body and to the centers in your spirit body. See the colors of your chakras. They're pouring their light, their love into your body on all levels, mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual. Feel your connection to these beautiful, celestial, spiritual beings. And remember that you once existed as a beautiful angel in the higher dimensions of the heaven. Feel the bond and the connectedness. Know that these angels are always around you. They are here to assist you, to help you, to heal you, and guide you. As you call upon their help, they will do as you ask. Know your angels. You can communicate with them. Just believe in yourself. You can hear them. You can feel their presence. You can see them. Experience them and feel them. As the angels are getting ready to leave, hug each one of your angels and thank them for their love and support and guidance in your life. you look at your body to where you're sitting, feel all these beautiful colors reflecting through your aura. And each color representing the love and the energy of one of the angels. See yourself surrounded with these beautiful celestial colors and energies. And your breath is bringing you back slowly to your physical body. Let this vision imprint in your consciousness. As you come back slowly to your physical body and share this light and beauty with everybody. Come back, and when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
The next portion of the service is the inspirational lecture. Today we have the pleasure of Reverend Constance Johnson coming back today. She is an ordained minister by the Alliance of Divine Love since 1988. She has studied metaphysics and angels, metaphysics, counseling, crystals, and past life regression. And she's also the author of Treasures from Heaven, a daily devotional book of 53 angel portraits. And she's been here before. We've always enjoyed to hear what she has to say, and I'm sure today will be no different. So please welcome Reverend Constance Johnson.
All right, am I on? Okay, I know that everything is always in divine order because my first teacher told me so. When someone uses the word constant or constantly, it is like God tapping me on the crown chakra saying, listen to this, it's important. So thank you, Steve, for the messages this morning. And also thank you, David, for the joke, because we're going to talk about grounding today. And just to let you know, it is springtime, so I have Raphael with me, who is why I'm wearing green. And Raphael is the healing angel, and he has brought other angels of his class with him, and they will be walking among you while I am doing this lecture. And my poor husband has put up with me for a week while I was doing this because both Raphael and I are not writers, so we'll just wing it. Anyway, today my topic is how to crack the hard shell of your ego. This is Easter time coming up. We have eggs everywhere, you know, little plastic ones, there's chocolate ones, calories or not, they're full of fun. And when you're a little kid, your job is to try and find as many and stick them in your basket. So I thought, well, the egg must be a symbol of something because this is silliness. Eggs and bunnies doesn't really go together. So I thought, what does the egg represent? And I went and I looked through some of our things that we had channeled over the years. And there was one reading that mentioned an egg. And it was the egg of the ego. I was thinking that would be our aura. No, it's the ego. Because the ego, which is one of the parts of being human, the ego is here to represent being physical. Its job is to preserve you itself. And it can get in the way of spiritual growth. What that reading said is that people have a choice to be in the little physical mind or in the higher spiritual mind. Most of them, which a dear friend of mine calls muggles because of the Harry Potter movies, they are in little mind because they're concerned about where their next meal is coming from, how they're going to pay their bills, what their boyfriend is doing, and those kinds of things. Whereas if you're in higher mind, you are concerned with, we've got to pray for the people in Russia right now. The people in Venezuela, there's bad things happening there, and you would feel that, and that's what you would want to pray about and put your efforts towards, instead of, what am I going to eat for dinner tonight? Psychologists have made a study of the ego for almost 2 centuries, and there's a psychologist that started this whole thing named Freud. I like to pronounce his name Fraud, because he wants to blame everything on his mother, which I take personally. But what they said, the primary function of the ego is to train the person to believe that the ego is the person. There's a problem with that. That's an identity crisis. How do you know what voice is talking in your own mind? Is this really you, your higher self, the angelic part of you? In Ashkhen's meditation, which was quite beautiful, she said, remember that you were an angel. Well, my personal belief is there is an angelic type of being, which is my higher self, that has never left the presence of the Father. And this is a thought in that being's mind that creates this incarnation in this person here now. And this being can have multiple things at one time. Because as you know, I studied a lot about reincarnation. It's not like a necklace of pearls. It is all jumbled up, just like life is. So the ego can masquerade as yourself. And the muggles, they do indeed think that this little voice that's telling them, walk on the other side of the street because there goes that guy that insulted you last time, you know. Which, if you were spiritual, you'd say, you know, beam love at them. You wouldn't think, I'm going to walk on the other side of the street to avoid them. Long time ago, I used to live in Macon, Georgia, and I lived on a college campus. And this was before my spiritual path opened for me, and I was just living on a campus because I worked there. I was a librarian. And as a librarian, I had access to the faculty anytime. I could ask questions, which is great if you're never through with learning. So I would capture some of these psychology professors and ask them questions. And they said that the ego is like a 2-year-old. It's very selfish. It wants to do what it wants to do. And that it's always watching out for itself. And what life taught me was that the ego does more than just defend itself from unpleasant feelings. Psychologists are always studying behavior, and they want to know why somebody did something. The problem is most of us can't explain why we did what we did. And so psychology is a very rough science. It's not like physics, it's not like math, because it's dealing with humans and the human condition. But they said the behaviors of a person whose ego is in control can cause the person to act very irrationally. Us spiritual practitioners know that the ego is just one of many voices that we can tune into, and that it's constantly bombarding your mind with limited viewpoints, sometimes that have little or nothing to do with actual things going on around you. When I was growing up, I was a fan of Perry Mason, and later we had Matlock, and you can watch how they always do the little thing in court where they dim the lights and say, you know, how did you know that that person that you saw running from the building was indeed the defendant here? And the person expected it to be the defendant. Therefore, their mind convinced them that, oh, that was indeed the defendant. Yet, when they reproduced the condition, they could see nobody could see who that was. So your ego can really convince you of things that are not actually true, yet you're accepting it as truth, and you are behaving based on that condition, which that's not a really good place to be. So I would ask myself, how much of life can our egos distort or hide from us? Unfortunately, a lot. So I wanted to study what can the ego do. If we know the tactics of the ego, we can detect what's going on and then therefore achieve mastery. And I will say to you, and I love it that we have some Buddhists here, a master is a beginning student. So to achieve mastery means you know that you need to learn something. The egos, first of all, can send a very physical message. It affects your physical body. For example, you have an exam that you have to pass in order to, I was in school forever, so in order to practice law, I had to take the bar exam. That's very severe, and you can get all worried about it. I've been in school for 3 years. I've studied very hard. I've taken the extra classes. I know enough to pass. I shouldn't be worried about it. But my ego can get me so upset that I can feel a churning in the stomach. I can't sleep at night. This is the night before the test. Everybody knows if you aren't well rested when you go to take an exam, you're going to do worse than usual. So the ego can actually affect your physical body. So if you are having things like this, an anxiety attack, you go, wait a minute, is this real? Is it really something I should be worried about? Is this something physical, or is it a misconception? A lot of you out here, you're already in touch with your guides and your own higher self. But John Q. Public out there doesn't know this information. So Raphael is wanting you to know this and focus on it so that you can help your neighbors and those around you who are not aware that they have resources that you already know about. The ego, another thing the ego does, a little trick, it can use one feeling to mask another. And I took the example of anger. Anger can really get you to do things that are not good. The image of the bull in the china shop is a very good example. So, for example, you're at the grocery store, you go to check out, the checkout girl, who's a total stranger to you, is rude to you. So, because she was rude to you, now you feel bad and you feel angry. What really happened was, she's very busy, there's a long line, there's a lot of stuff to do. She wasn't rude to you at all. It just felt that way. Your ego took that as an insult and said, you're going to be mean to her back. You're going to be mean to everybody else all day long. Well, how many times have you met somebody out there and they just frown at you? It can ruin your day if you don't take a moment to go beam love back at them, because you know inside somewhere there's happiness. And you want to beam that back and share it with them, and you just say to your ego, hush, 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 like to a 2-year-old. And taking the time to do that is a little difficult when you're in the middle of a full-blown anger thing. Being like a 2-year-old is not limited to 2-year-olds. And the final ultimate control of the ego is to make you feel nothing. And Raphael gave me a wonderful one-liner. Nothing is not the opposite of something. It is the absence of it. Nothing. There is a lot of thought. I know we try to clear our minds. We have disciplines and practices in order to wipe the slate so that you can receive messages from your higher self, from spirit, whatever. But you are not really doing nothing. You are opening. That's very, very different. And there's no way the ego wants to control what goes on out here. It's not going to happen. You can't possibly make sure that somebody does exactly what you want. Nobody is a puppet, not even a prisoner or a slave. You just don't have that kind of control. This is the world. This is 3D, or actually 4D, and we just don't have that kind of control. So the ultimate thing that when the ego wins is you're catatonic and you might as well go stay in the cave, which, as we know, that's not really what life is about. Life is about interacting and being together with others and sharing your light and learning from them, no matter who they are. So knowing yourself, your true self, is the key to freedom. And it looks like dealing with the ego is necessary to get to your true self, because the ego can masquerade and twist things for you and give you false information. The tools that I like the best to deal with this are meditation and journaling. I know we have some people here that teach meditation, and meditation is, it's hard to describe how much it can do for you, because it will, first of all, let you relax. Once you have relaxed, the ego has nothing to say, because you're close to that thing the ego is trying to achieve. The ego gets confused, you know. What do I do now? She's already relaxed. She's doing nothing, apparently doing nothing. But of course you are doing something. The journaling is to allow you to see patterns in your own self-history that you're creating here. You can, if you are not a writer like me, you can draw pictures. You can do stick figures even. Whatever it takes to express and put it down so that you can look at it later. Because this allows you to have the distance that you would have in order to be objective, which it's hard to do if the ego has you by the nose and says, we're going to be angry today because the checkout girl was rude to you. No, we don't want to do that. So, what do you have to do? You have to master your feelings. Everybody knows how feelings can just take your logic and throw that out the window. This is springtime. It happens every spring. We have Valentine's Day and things like this. So the very first step is personal responsibility, which is mastering your feelings. Now I'm going to give you one feeling that Raphael just thinks is so important, and that's being happy, happiness. Now I know you cannot force happiness to happen. However, you can enjoy it. You can enjoy it in yourself. You can enjoy it in others. You can let others give it to you. You can read a book and get happiness out of a book. You can even watch an ad on TV and get happiness. So the attitude of gratitude. I spent many years in AA. I was in a bad part of my life. Most people are when they go into AA, which is Alcoholics Anonymous, in case anyone who doesn't know. But that's a very frequent topic. And I come in and sit down quietly because they go around, everybody is supposed to speak what you're feeling right now and what you're dealing with. They want you to get your feelings out. And it's a great place to go to learn how to speak out your feelings in front of other people. Because nothing bad is going to happen. They're all in your boat with you or worse. So they say, let's talk about gratitude. And I would go, I am not at all happy about anything. Nothing to be grateful for, which is not true. It is not true. That was my ego talking to me, telling me you've got nothing to be, you're worthless, all of this. Throw the bum out. You know? You have a lot to be grateful for. And I learned that from my husband, who came along into my life at about that time when I was wrapping up with AA. The one thing about AA I did not care for is that they want to tell you over and over again, you're going to be an alcoholic forever. And I'm going, no, I don't think so. So I wanted to, enjoy life a bit and not have, booze following me around, torturing me. So I said, no, we're not going to do that. So I went on into life, and I met this wonderful man who decided to be my constant partner in everything in life. And what he brought to the table as my partner was being thankful. The very thing I didn't like AA to talk about. Being thankful for things. When you are in the midst of despair, you can write down a list of things to be thankful for every day. Maybe only one or two, but there is some, I'm still breathing. I actually have a car. It's paid for. There's gas in it. I can go somewhere. This is America. I can go somewhere. There's a lot. We just take for granted all these things. And this is the ego again. It's ego saying, everything's going terribly. Nothing's going your way. You might as well stay home. Stay home so that you won't run into any more rude checkout girls. Well, forget it. This is America. I'm out. So we did this. And when we first got married, we both had all kinds of problems. And I had to finish going through a really nasty divorce. All kinds of stuff went on. And every morning at breakfast, we would sit there and we'd pray about it and we'd write a little letter. And at that time, we were coming up with three things. Things got better. We told other people. And I look at life sometimes like a highway. These people that we were telling this to were passing us at 90 miles an hour. We're still chugging. But, you have to make it through as best you can. Keep on chugging. And after a while, things got good. You know what? Put the notebooks down. Forgot about it. We let life happen. Everything rolls along for a while. There's a bump in the road here, a bump in the road there. 1999, Lou's father decided to leave this world. He left the door open to heaven. He had over 15 people, elders, mentors, teachers, friends, and a few heroes all go to heaven within a space of 2 years. I was devastated. It took my world and flipped it upside down. I got mad at God. I slammed the door on God. It was not a good thing. When you get in a lot of pain, back to my first teacher, he says, when you're in pain, you know you're off the path. Okay? So I was like, I've got so much ouch, I don't know which part is hurting the most in my feelings, in my ego, in my energy body, whatever, everything. I got really upset and I just let it go. So after a while, I finally decided I didn't want to go back in the cave because ego was telling me I was worthless and, you know, things were so bad, life is horrible, and I'm going back to the same place I was in AA when they were telling me, you're going to be an alcoholic forever, and I was going, no. So you're going to go and you're going to be a hermit, you're going to stay, you're not going to leave the house, you're going to become catatonic. I'm going, no. No, I'm not. I have other things to do with my life than just sit there and do nothing and be a lump. So first thing that I noticed, I came across pulled an old drawer open, and there were some of the old notebooks. Got them out, started looking at them. Oh, I forgot all about that. A very simple tool, a child can do it. A child might write, you know, make pictures of butterflies, but a child can do it. Anybody can do it. You can be thankful for something every day. And the more that you are thankful, it takes your view of life from what might be negative, and it turns it around. And you start seeing the good instead of that which is not good. So that idea came back to me. And I would also be awakened by spirit at exactly 5:15 every morning. So I would get up, and I had a bunch of, there were study guides to the Bible that you read and answer questions, and I would do those for lack of anything better. I was looking for something, I felt like somebody that had been thrown off the Titanic, and I was grabbing for something that I could hold on to, and that's what I was doing. And during those early morning hours, everybody else is asleep, even the birds are still asleep. I got a vision of myself having a trash can turned upside down over my head. Like, I'm in here, this is what the ego wanted, right? This is the closest thing, doing nothing. I had turned off all my intuition, I had turned off all my spiritual gifts, I had got mad at God and slammed the door on him. And now I'm wanting contact, and God is saying, you slammed the door on me, not me on you, I'm still here. So I had to get rid of the trash can. And I'm thinking, what can I do? I was doing all this, starting to write the letters again, and I was doing all this studying and all this prayer. I did a tremendous amount of spiritual healing, distance healing for people during this period when I was trying to heal myself. The more I healed others, I was starting to heal also. But I got a neat vision, and it came through one of those little study guides. It says, God is the divine potter. And so I got a picture of God working in a pottery workshop. I used to live in Georgia, land of clay, been to the potter's workshop, and God's sitting there forming a pot, and there's other pots out here. And over in the corner, there's a flower in one of the pots. And I'm not a gardener, I know some people are. Pots can cause a plant to become root bound, and so the poor plant was sitting there, kind of the leaves curling on the edge, not doing so well. And that's kind of like what I was. I was the pot in the corner with a little flower in it, root bound. I couldn't grow any further. I had constricted myself so much. So what I imagined then is the pot fell off the shelf with the little flower, and it just burst open, and the roots were now able to go, and I know what it feels like to be in tight blue jeans. You take them off. Women that have had to wear, for a fancy dress, you go, when you get out of the thing because you can breathe. It's sort of what the plant was feeling like, is, oh, at last, now I can grow. And I was shown that God chooses to use people whose pots have been broken. When we go through the kiln of life, which is going through the fire, we get set in a certain size and shape. It can't be changed. The potter can only work with the wet clay. He cannot work with a pot that's already set into shape. So by breaking the pot, now you are open to infinity, and your potentials are wide open before you. And also, I wanted to share that, the keeping about the list of good things. I know that there are bad things that happen. I had been through a bunch of them. In a crisis, I have noticed the difference between someone who is not awakened and someone who is spiritual. The spiritual person has resources. The spiritual person knows hardship is for a season. It's not the entire existence here. No matter how bad it is and what it is that you think you've lost, obviously we all know we haven't lost the ones that passed over. They're not in a physical form right now. We haven't lost them. They're there. And they're probably dancing around you, trying to, I'm here, I'm here. You can't hear them because you've done what I did. I put a trash can over my head. So knowing that we have this opportunity through our spirituality is an absolutely marvelous thing. Another thing that I used to help heal myself of this trash can condition was active prayer and contemplation. Once again, I'm glad we have people here that do the Buddhist way, because it needs to be a conversation. And I see a lot of people there go, oh, they pray for hours out loud, they sing and dance, they write huge volumes of prayers. They don't take time to take a breath and let God say, I'm here, hello. A conversation is two-way. So in the contemplation portion of meditation, you are sitting there and you have done your expression of what you are feeling, what you're needing, what you're wanting God to get from you. Now you want to get back from God. And that's the very most important thing, is realize it goes two ways. So in the prayer, I've learned many, many things, and my husband Louis has actually got a book that he's written of little lessons of things that we learned over the years. And it's written at a very basic level, because everyone's a beginner. No matter how long they've been doing a practice, there's still things to be learned at the beginner level, always. And so you write a request, you come up with a request as detailed as possible, so that you know that God knows exactly what it is that you're looking for and what you need back. And sometimes it's only a request for information. And then in the waiting, now here's an interesting part. We always talk in the Bible and other sacred literature about the still small voice. What we have to be very quiet and still to hear this. And the moment you connect, it's like you're standing by the side of Niagara Falls, and the ground is shaking because of the volume of information that you will get. So be patient. It took me 2.5 years of that 5 o'clock in the morning thing before I was able to make a connection again. And I did that to myself by listening to my ego. So perhaps I can save some of you some time with this little lecture today. The main point that I'd like to make on all of this is that it is doable. Every one of you has the tools within you that you need to make a connection with God through your own higher self, through your belief system, through your angel, whatever it is, there is a connection. It's already there. It was there before you ever came into the human form. And I will give you a little mantra that I came up with that kept me going for those 2.5 years when I was trying to get the trash can off my head. There is no challenge too large or too small that God and I together cannot handle. And that's my message for today, from me and Matt.